Ah, there you go.
Yeah, and voice. Play test sound.
Hello. Okay, that's going to work. Okay, right, we're on. Okay, sorry everyone. I just figured out what I was doing wrong. Thank you for your patience, and we're carrying on. So hopefully you've been watching me draw Steven Tyler, and I was rabbiting on about something or other. Nothing important. Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, thank you for watching the screen, and my apologies for not having the sound on. I didn't realize that I had to change another setting in because I was using a different microphone. So yeah, we're doing a sketch of Steven Tyler, and in a little while we're gonna do a critique. So yeah, this is the subject of the next Character Armor contest. I really enjoy drawing the subjects each week and participating. It's a really great thing on Facebook. There's not really anything like it for caricature. So, and thank you to everyone for voting for me. It's a lot of fun, and it's great seeing all the entries come in as well. Get a kick out of keep tuning in and seeing all the new ones, and it's great to watch. So, and I think Steven Tyler's a really great subject for the next week. I've never drawn him before. I don't know why I haven't. I like Aerosmith's music. He's got a great face. So, yeah. So here I am drawing him. And this is, it's very sort of loose sketch. I'm not suggesting that this will be something I want to paint. Potentially, yes. I think this, in terms of looking for reference for Steven Tyler, you'd think it would be easy, but there's a lot of pictures of him behind a microphone and screaming into a microphone, and his likeness is hidden quite a lot. I think there's a lot of likeness when he's pouting like this. It kind of shows the anatomy around his jowls. So and that the anatomy is just loads of fun to draw as well. So love the froggy look. Okay, Jar Jar Binks. Indeed. Maybe I should draw Ewan McGregor down here and Qui-Gon Jinn or something. Just want to raise that shoulder up a little bit more. It changes the expression of it as well, or the expression of the pose. There's a lot to be said for body language and how we hold ourselves, and the level of the shoulders, and if you don't get that right, then it can change everything. I like to think that when we're drawing a face, we're drawing everything that's underneath it as well. Even when you're drawing a heads and shoulders piece, you're not just drawing the heads and shoulders. You're always drawing everything that's underneath as well. So you have to still study the rest of that person and how they walk and talk, and everything's connected. Kind of looks like he's got a white pair of eyes, like he's a cartoon character. Just like that. Or that. Okay, we've had a question from Oscar Belmontes. So can everyone submit their work for a critique? What do you need to do? Well, in the comments section on this page, on the page for each week's Hangout, I'll be posting the new Hangout for each week the day after, or a couple of hours after the last one. So if people can leave links to their work in the comments section for next week's Hangout, then that'll give me some time to look through them and choose one, because it's I don't have the rush of picking something like a couple of minutes before going on air. So yeah, simple as that. So just a link to the artwork, whether it's on your Google page or Facebook page, and another link to the reference you've used. So if it's on Google Images, then a link to that. And obviously I can't guarantee that I'm going to choose your piece. It's entirely at random. So I'm kind of just shading this. I'm not really. I don't plan on doing this as a digital piece. I'm kind of leaning towards doing this in oils, mainly because I haven't done an oil painting for a while. I've done quite a lot of digital, and I miss it. So there's a lot of forms going on in Steven Tyler's face when he's pouting. There's so much going on. So it starts off with a outline sketch, and I kind of turn it into a sketch painting, but I still see it as a sketch. Okay, Bernd has asked if I'm drawing on a Wacom Cintiq. No, I've got a very basic Bamboo. So, you know, I've had the choice in the past of, do I invest in digital equipment or do I invest in traditional equipment? And for me, you know, it doesn't. The limitations are only in what you're doing with it. It's not the tool itself. It's how you use it. So I bought some easels. I bought some paints, and you know, more of my money goes on materials for that than digital equipment. But you know, it just happens that it's easier to share digital work online. So I end up doing that as well. Okay, we've got another question. Okay, Jacob Weissman has asked, do you always a single reference, or would you ever combine a good something? A good one? What does that say? Pouty pick. With other features. Well, yeah. I mean, I do combine other reference. So sometimes if you know the lighting's good on one reference and there's a good pose on another, but you know, sometimes I think if it isn't broke, then don't fix it. And it's more about the execution of, you know, and your interpretation of that particular reference. And yeah, mainly I will work off one reference and then that will kind of dominate the pose and the expression. But you know, I've always got in the back of my mind, or I've always studied other references as well. I'm going to turn the texture off on here. And the shape dynamic, let's turn all those off. So I think, you know, everything you know about the person you're drawing goes into your study of that one reference. Yeah, I'm just loosely blocking things in here. I'm not gonna, no heroics. Like I say, I want to do an oil painting from this one. I think it might be nice to do a fairly big sized one as well. You know, you could rough in these lips, but if you look at the reference and how many folds and ins and outs there are, and yeah, if you go too close, it gets blurry. But you can add in sort of detail in between the blurriness and as you render. But for the purpose of this sketch, I'm not going to go into too much detail on those folds, even though I'm looking forward to doing so in the painting. So I think in a minute we're going to look at someone's work for critiquing. Spend a few more minutes on this. Okay, so Ian Lloyd has asked, how many hours will the oil painting take, roughly? No idea. How long is a piece of string? Sometimes I can take weeks on. I can spend weeks on something. Sometimes I can knock something out in a couple of hours. You know, a lot of it depends on how many distractions I have. So, you know, I've got 2 kids. I have to look after the kids, and you know, I have a life as well, so including the kids. And you know, so you know, sometimes it's you know, it would be nice in an ideal world to just work on something from beginning to end, you know, and spend about 5 hours on something, and then it's done. But you know, life isn't like that. It doesn't work like that. So and sometimes it's nice to, you know, I think it's good to take a break from things as well. So you know, I think these distractions should be welcomed rather than avoided. Okay. Oh, thanks, Phil. And thank you to Kasia for handing me the comments. So it was kind of annoying the last couple of weeks to not be able to see what you're writing, and it was nice hearing your comments afterwards. It's always nice to hear people's comments, but not being able to answer them as well was kind of frustrating. So thank you, Kasia. You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and we'll do a little critique and maybe come back to it. For some reason it's a Photoshop image. Let's save it as a TIFF. That'll do. Okay. Right. So this is, I didn't catch the artist's name. It's, I can't remember. Sorry?
I'm going to tell, Encore Graphics. Is that
Encore Graphics. So I don't know the actual name of the person, but the username is Encore Graphics. So, and we've got some guides on here. So there you go. Turn it off. Okay, so yeah, that's a really good likeness of Joaquin Phoenix. So based on this reference, the first thing that strikes me is the choice of exaggeration. I think it's pretty tough to exaggerate Joaquin Phoenix. You know, it's a lot of it's to do with the shape of his jawline, combined with, you know, he's got very distinctive eyes shapes and eyebrows, huge eyebrows. So you could go bigger with the eyebrows, maybe. So that's one thing that strikes me about him. So with this, I would probably change the head shape, bring that out. So this exaggeration of bringing this in isn't the best choice. So this exaggeration kind of goes against his likeness. That's the first thing that stands out for me. I think the eyes are a very good representation of what's here in the reference. So it's a good likeness in terms of the eyes and the nose and the cleft palate, or the hair lip, rather. It's mainly that exaggeration. And another thing is, well, firstly, I wouldn't really choose this reference because it's kind of face on, and there's not really any expression there. It doesn't really tell me anything about Joaquin Phoenix. There's nothing really to work with in terms of exaggeration. So if you start with that extra work to do, then you're going to make bad decisions when it comes to the exaggeration. So moving on from that, the other piece of advice I could give is looking at values. So and also color temperature as well. And there's a lot of grays. You've got a lot of grays in here, in these skin tones. So if you look at his skin tones here, it's a lot warmer, and you could probably warm it up a bit more as well. So you could go to maybe vibrance, and so you can increase that a bit. So you can warm up the reference as well, just to give you an idea. So I would be aiming more for something like that in terms of color. So these grays are kind of all adding to flatten. Everything's flattening the piece out, and we want to try and get some depth. So already, after doing that with the reference, I can see more of a depth. So I can imagine the back of his head and how far away his nose is from the back of his head. Not greatly, because again, it's a little too face on, but I can see it a little bit more now. So it will help me when I do my sketch. Because that's what I'm looking for, is where's the back of the head, and how can I judge how far away this nose is, or the tip of the nose is, from the back of the head, and can I recreate that? Words are failing me. Faithfully or accurately. So color, much more color, and also edges as well. So there's a lot of sharp edges here around the hairline. So you can get a large brush to do that, and you can just soften it up, and because it's all about transitions, and soften everything up. You don't even have to fix it afterwards, because that's and especially with Joaquin Phoenix, because he plays kind of, sort of hazy, almost drug-induced characters, so it would kind of fit his personality as well. But then all over the face as well, there's there are lots of hard edges and grey tones. So around the nose as well. So that would be the key thing, is warmer tones and softer edges. And also the values as well. So, you know, these eyebrows, even though he's got dark eyebrows, nothing is ever as dark as you think it is. So this side could be lightened up, and you could make it sort of a warmer, sort of grayish black. The same goes for all over the painting. So that's my suggestions for that one. I'm not going to go too deeply into it. I could say more and I could change more things, but you know, if you want more in-depth critiques, then I do so on my course. It's 9 weeks, and you can get a one-to-one critique with me. So it's a live critique, and it can be, you know, if you're in a different country, and so we've got different time zones, I can arrange the critique for a time that suits you. You know, within reason. If it's like 4 o'clock in the morning for me, then we might have to arrange another time. But you know, there's always ways of working that out, and you know, having that one-to-one communication with the student is really useful, both for me and the student, because you get to ask me questions and hear the answers straight away. Okay, we've got another question. So Bogdan has asked, how do you deal with clients that send such references that don't, without much exaggeration, or with not much to exaggerate? Well, I try and be as faithful to the likeness as I can, so I'll not worry about exaggeration as much. I don't normally worry about exaggeration too much anyway. You know, if it happens, then it happens, and it can be fun, but that's not my main aim. You know, sometimes subtle exaggeration can work just as well, and you know, it's more about being faithful to the person you're drawing, and capturing all the other things like expression and personality, and you know, exaggeration is, you know, it's if it's a caricature, then yeah, you still got to try and exaggerate, but you know, if there's literally nothing to exaggerate, then trying to is, you're going to be banging your head against a brick wall, and it's better to go for lightness, and you know, and it will still look slightly exaggerated. So that's as good as I can say that, really, I think. Oh, sorry, I've got another one on the other side. Didn't know. Okay, Yazan is asking, hi Paul, do you ever have problems deciding where the weight on some faces is? So yeah, I understand what you're saying. So if someone's got a big head or a small chin, or small chin and small forehead and big chin, well, again, it's about looking for the personality. So you add the weight where the person shows you that personality. So, for instance, Steven Tyler, we know he's got a big mouth and big lips, but I looked for a reference where he's putting the emphasis on those lips. So he's pouting, and the emphasis is away from his eyes. You know, we don't even need his eyes to know that that's Steven Tyler. So I always look at personality first, and then I look at lots of reference and use a value judgment of what expression. So it's about the expression. So what expression would sum up that person? And then, so for instance, if someone's always surprised, and they always have big eyebrows that look surprised, then you look for a reference where they're using their big eyebrows. So, and everything will lean towards that. So I base my reference search purely on expression and which expression suits that person, and then judging where to put the weight comes from that. I hope that's clear. I explained that in more detail on the course, in a lot more detail, but that is the gist of it. So to be honest, I'm really just doing this for the heck of it, because I know that I'm gonna, I'm probably gonna paint from this one. I could just for fun zoom in and do the lips a little bit. Just because he's got such awesome lips. Let's get a bit darker around here. I love the ways his bottom lip meets the top, and so much going on with these lips. And I think it'd be fun to render it in oils. Okay, another question. Bernd has asked, when you're drawing, you're not consciously deciding what to exaggerate, but let it happen. Yeah, pretty much. But there's still, I'm still using my understanding of that person. So research is kind of key to getting those exaggerations. You know, once you've done the research, then yeah, it just your instincts are being informed by the research that you've done. I just can't get over the anatomy of these lips. They're insane. Okay, Bogdan has asked all the details about the course. Are they on the site or elsewhere? Well, yeah, everything's on the course on the website. Go to paulmoyes.com and follow the links. I'm going to be updating the course soon so that it's clearer and you know, there are. But you can, you know, it's all there for you to. You can sign up now. The course is going to be starting in a couple of weeks, or a week and a half. So, and if you've got any questions, then you know, feel free to email me if I've missed anything out of the website. Because you know, I'm always updating it and trying to make it better. So, you know, your input is most welcome. So yeah, if you know, if you've got any questions or suggestions, then let me know. Because you know, at the end of the day, I'm doing. You know, it's for you to benefit from. So it's, you know, if I'm not getting your input, then why am I doing it? So yeah, like I said before, I'd probably have enough information now from this sort of digital sketch to move on to an oil painting. So, and if I was going to paint it digitally, then I'd obviously just carry on here, but I won't be. So this is just for fun. And you know, the main thing is that I'm happy with the exaggeration. I'm happy with the pose. So I'd probably stretch the arm a bit. I'll be thinking about composition as well. So, you know, I'm kind of aware of how tall and thin he is as well. He's not skinny, but he's he's kind of got this lanky feel to him, or he's tall, and I kind of want to suggest that by stretching out his arms as well. Okay, another question from Bernd. We've got a few minutes left. Thank you for the answers. I see not so much distance between nose and upper lip, but when I look at your drawing, it looks great. Okay, well, if you look at, well, thank you for starters. But if you look at other reference, there's overall, there's quite a lot of distance there. I mean, also don't forget that the nose has to come down. I haven't finished doing the nose, so the nose will be coming down to there. And then this, I'm kind of leaving room for this lip to come up a bit more as well. So that can come up to there. So, that's probably more where the top lip will be. So, that will help to improve the likeness as well. So, beyond from this, it's more about tweaking the likeness, and and all the little details will gradually hone the likeness into shape. But I think it's, in terms of the basic structure, I think it's ready to go on to an oil painting, and I look forward to doing it. It should be fun. Okay, so we've got a few more minutes. Just going to carry on, and I don't know. I might think of changing the words on his necklace. I'm not sure why he's. Yeah, I wonder why he's got those words on there. Don't know. I can't think why. It's baffling. So I don't know. I might think about how I could change those. Perhaps could make something fun out of those. Have some fun with it. We'll see. Ride me. So how long have we got? The clock on my computer for some reason is fast.
2 minutes fast.
So it's 2 minutes fast. So we've probably got 3 extra minutes. Cool.
4 minutes.
Okay. Let's reduce that down a bit. Go back to there. So yeah, it might be fun to hear your suggestions on if I was going to change his necklace, what would I change it to say? Or what would you change it to say? Answers on a postcard. Well, no, not on a postcard, but you know what I mean. Okay. So one thing I might have an issue with when painting is the getting a distance on this side of the head. So there's a lot of similar values around here. I might look at changing some of those values to just to make it stand out from the background a bit more. So I'll look at that when I'm in the painting process. So, okay, we're going to wrap it up now. Got 1 minute left. So just leaves me to say thank you for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry about the sound problems at the beginning. I hope it wasn't too bothersome for you, or didn't get in the way of your enjoyment too much. And I hope you've enjoyed watching me doodle. And look forward to seeing everyone's pieces on Characterama as well. And have fun. So thanks very much, and I will see you next week. Cheers.